welcome to Heroes Next Door. Thank you all for joining us today. Today we're doing a series on the Montgomery Township Fire Department. This is going to be a station cribs, station rigs, and a bay watch. Today is station cribs. So let's go see what they have. So I was talking to the chief. He set up the arrangement for this today, but we're going to be talking to one of their firefighters. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm Mike from Heroes Next Door.
I'm Anthony. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for inviting us in.
No problem.
This is an awesome little building that you got here. Years ago, I used to work in Lansdale, so I'm kind of familiar with the township and stuff like that.
Nice.
But this building's fairly new, is it not?
So it actually looks newer than it is. So the building's been here since the 70s, but back in 2008, it was renovated to better accommodate the fire department and better suit our needs here.
Right. So that's why it looks a little different, because I was here, I think, in 2001.
Okay.
So the old building was still here. So
Yeah.
I'm very interested in what you have, how you did the renovations, and what it's all about. Are you able to kind of show us around?
Yeah. Let's get started.
All right.
So we'll start in here. This is our training room. We host a variety of different classes throughout the year. If anybody knows Chief Wiegman, he's big on training. So we host a couple Pro Board classes a year, as well as internal trainings. So this is where the volunteers do their training on Monday nights.
Okay.
But we have state-of-the-art technology as far as our projector and the screen back here.
Huge screen.
Yeah. So we can mirror the screen. So
Okay.
when instructors are sharing with the class the information, they can see exactly what we're looking at.
Okay.
So you're not, the instructors aren't facing the screen.
Right.
So it's
This
nice.
is a very nice room. The fact that you have plenty of space to not only have the desk, but you can probably bring in some equipment if you wanted to do a CPR course or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do offer CPR training to Township residents.
Okay.
So all the full-time career staff, as well as a few of the volunteers, are CPR trainers. So that is a service that we provide to the community. So it's nice to, we get sometimes 40 people in here. Sometimes we'll split it up, we'll do the classroom portion in here and then take half the class out in the engine bay to do the hands-on portion. But yeah, it accommodates our needs.
Yeah,
very
I love
well.
the fact that it's got the nice big windows too. You can see outside.
Yeah, sometimes it's distracting, but it's all good.
Right. But as we walk in, this is your main foyer. This is where the public would come in, correct?
Yeah, correct. So we have the doorbell out front. Our lovely secretary Liz will ring you in if you don't look too suspicious.
Right.
But no, she'll welcome you in and then obviously get you to where you have to go if you're here to see the chief or one of us.
Right. I noticed you got some things up on the wall. These are what, your members or?
Yeah. So right now we have a couple plaques. We have life members, honorary members, our charter members. So when the company was founded in 2002.
Okay.
The Montgomery Township Department of Fire Services. That's when that was founded in 2002. Prior to that, the Colmar Fire Company.
Colmar, yeah, I remember that.
So that goes all the way back to the 70s. And then you have our IAFF charter there as well, and then all our veterans who are with our department, past and present.
So just for our viewers' sake, this is a combination. So you both
Correct.
volunteer and paid service.
Yes. So we have a stipend program. We have a bunch of volunteers, and then we have career staff. So currently there's 7 full-time career staff here. We have the chief, the assistant chief, and then a captain and 4 firefighters.
Okay.
So at any given time, we have 4 guys on the truck, 1 guy in the special service, and then obviously the chief and the assistant chief.
Are you staffed 24/7 then?
No. So we work Monday through Friday from 7 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually we're here by 6:30, making coffee and such. But
Right. It's kind of a smaller footprint for a firehouse that we're normally used to. You don't carry a whole lot of apparatus here, but you got some pretty good areas for you guys to get. Can we take a look at where you guys kind of hang out?
Yeah, come on in.
Okay.
I guess we'll start straight down the hallway here and then work our way back.
That sounds good. So once you pass this door, it becomes part of your house, right?
Correct,
'Cause
yeah.
the public
So-
can't get through here.
So that's fobbed, and so is the entrance to the offices.
Okay.
So that way people are kind of stuck in the foyer
Okay.
until Liz comes out and sees where you got to go, and then she'll
Right.
direct
Well, it's a
you,
little
so.
safety feature because
Yeah.
this is our house. This is where we live,
Yeah.
most of the time. We just don't want people walking in.
Absolutely.
Even though we do invite the public out,
Right.
we have to have some kind of barrier.
Right. So we'll swing in here
Okay.
to start.
These are the offices.
Correct.
Okay.
So currently these 3 cubicles are where the volunteers can come and do their work. The treasurer has a space where they can kind of do what they have to do as far as their needs. We have the assistant chief's office right here, And then he's kind of secluded from the rest of us. But we're the rest of us are in here.
Okay. Oh, nice big office.
So
Like this.
Harry's hard at work doing fire reports.
Nice to meet you, Harry. I'm Mike from Heroes Next Door.
There you go. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So the 5 firefighters and the captain are all right here. So this is where we kind of sit, do our inspections. We, catch up on emails, stuff like that. This is where all our paperwork is done. In there is the chief's office. He's got the nice big office.
Of course.
Has the ability to shut the door if we're driving him crazy.
Getting too rowdy.
Yeah. And then up here, as I alluded to, we have our lovely secretary, Liz.
All right, we'll say hi to Liz. Liz, nice to meet you. I'm Mike from Heroes Next Door.
Hi.
Thank you for inviting us in.
Hello.
Liz, I was telling Mike how we, people get stuck out there before you kind of let them in and make sure they're not up to no good. So.
Right.
Yeah, I can see who comes on my
Yeah.
camera, and I'm the first one they greet.
So you are the hub of the whole thing. Nothing comes in here until it comes through you.
I try to police it as best as I can to keep us all safe, but we're also very approachable. So
Sure.
we're here to help the community.
Sure. Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So you mentioned just a minute ago that you guys do inspections.
Correct.
As I've been traveling around the country, most of the time when we talk about inspections, we have fire marshals do that. But you guys as fire department are doing that. Can you explain to me a little bit more on what that entails?
Yeah, so all the full-time career staff we're all fire investigators, but we're also fire inspectors. So we have our pro board certifications in both. I'll do both. So
Okay.
we all do fire inspections, fire and life safety inspections in
Okay.
all commercial businesses in Montgomery Township.
Gotcha.
So, there's thousands of businesses in town,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
5 of us doing inspections. So we try and the goal eventually is to get through every business every year,
Okay.
so annually.
Okay.
Right now it's about every year and a half we get through the businesses.
Okay.
We just revamped our inspection program a couple years ago. Some businesses hadn't been inspected in 10 plus years.
Sure. A lot of businesses I've come across have never had an inspection,
Yeah.
which is why I'm kind of bringing up the question. What does it take to do an inspection on a business? Do I need to be afraid of that?
No. So we're really just looking for, fire hazards, right? And life safety is our main concern. So we're looking for blocked egress and, other minor things like making sure extinguishers are inspected and the fire alarm system and sprinkler system are inspected, down to extension cords and power strips that people love to plug power strips into power strips.
I'm one of them,
and-
especially with all my camera equipment. I'm plugging everything in. so-
Exactly. So people don't realize the fire hazard
Yeah.
that entails. So, anything from as menial as that up to block egress, which is obviously a huge issue.
Okay. So if I have a business in the township and maybe I want to get a fire inspection, maybe I haven't had one in a while, does it cost me anything as a
So
provider?
there's a general inspection fee
Okay.
that is based on the square footage of the building. That's not a fine. People think they get the fee in the mail and they're like, well, you fined me. It's like, no, it's a fee based on the square footage of the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so the bigger the building, obviously the bigger the fee.
Sure, because you guys got to put all that time and effort
Yeah,
into it.
and it's a cost neutral process. So it's just accounting for our time that we spend there, and we're not out there to make money. We're out there to make sure that the building's safe.
Right. And the advantage that I see from the fire side of it as a volunteer is you guys are developing pre-plans then from a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. So we the chief actually tasked us to pre-plan a high hazard. So each one of us were assigned nursing home facilities. Obviously,
Yep.
Obviously a high hazard. We actually had an incident at one, not a fire, but it was a major water incident where we had to evacuate the entire building. It was
Okay.
actually my pre-plan,
Right.
and of course, but it was it was good to have that relationship.
Right.
But yeah, building that rapport is huge. Also getting in the buildings and seeing the layout.
Yeah.
Obviously, under fire conditions and stuff like that, you don't want to be trying to find your way. If you can, don't try and not find your way around the building.
Right.
So seeing the layouts and kind of seeing the hazards that these buildings pose is definitely an advantage.
Okay. So you mentioned that you guys are also fire inspectors. We'll keep walking
Yeah.
as we go along.
Yeah.
You're inspectors. So after a fire, then you also go out and try to determine the what caused the fire then?
Yeah, so we have all of us are investigators, right? So we do we have a lead investigator, and then the rest of us assist with that investigation. Obviously, if we need more resources, the county or the state or what have you, they'll come in as well. But we try and handle most of our stuff within our department.
Yeah,
So
that's kind of cool to
Yeah.
see. I always see it on Chicago Fire. They go in and doing fire inspections. I'm like, that seems like a pretty cool job. And you guys are including that in your job.
Yeah. So 3 of us are really new to it. We just got our certification in June. John, our assistant chief, has been doing it a long time. Same thing with the chief. And Harry's been doing it a couple years now, but the three newer guys, we just got our certification in June, so we've only had a couple fires since then, but it's definitely been a cool learning experience.
Right, and it's a benefit to your township as you have those kind of things, because you don't have to reach out for different resources, and they can get an answer for their questions of, what started the fire, why did it do what it do. You guys are going to be able to answer that question much quicker than bringing in a fire marshal from some other township.
Right, and again, it's building that rapport, and especially if it's a business that we deal with a lot and we already know the manager and the facilities people, it's easier to work with if they know our face and we know them. So
dude, you got a nice little weight room here right off the hallway.
So we were very fortunate. When we first got hired, we had a lot of old gym equipment, and one of our first tasks was kind of revamping our fitness center here. So
it's not huge, but it has everything. You have the Jacob's ladder, you have a treadmill, so you can get your cardio, but you also have the weights, which are just as important as cardio.
So we got this. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but this machine is pretty nifty because you can do. I mean, there's dozens of different exercises you can do. So it's nice because we have a limited space, but this machine allows us to do all sorts of workouts. So it's nice, at the end of shift. That's mostly when we come in here and get our workout in. But obviously, the leading cause of firefighter deaths is cardiovascular issues.
I'm guilty of it. I've been so busy over the last couple of years. I put on a couple extra pounds that I need to get rid of, and this would be a good way. In my own job, if I had something like this, there are, not often do every firehouse have the opportunity, or EMS station have the opportunity to put something like this. So the fact that your administration says, hey, this is an important thing. We want to keep our guys healthy, fit, and mentally good. Having that is awesome.
We were very fortunate that we had the support of the chief and the township and the volunteer side, the FDMT. Township bought half and the FDMT bought half, so it was kind of a combo effort.
Collaboration is the way to get it done.
It was. It's been great so far. So.
All right, so we came from down there. We're working our way this way up the hallway, and that brings us into your crew room.
So this is our crew lounge and our kitchen.
Okay.
So this is where all the magic happens. So our friends down the street, the police officers, we get along great with our officers, and they're always stopping in and saying hi. But obviously, if they come in at lunchtime and we're sitting around the table, sometimes they join us, and other times they like to bust our stones, and they're like, "Oh, I'm surprised you're not sleeping on the couch yet. Isn't it time to sleep on the couch?" So no, it's fun. But this is a good opportunity, especially for our stipend program, stuff like that. Late at night, guys winding down. So the stipend starts at 9:30 at night.
Okay.
And they stay over until 5:30 in the morning.
Okay. And the little kitchenette is really cool because you have your table. Every firehouse has got to have a firehouse table because we all know all problems get solved, especially if you invite the cops over. We're definitely going to solve every problem we can come across. But you guys have a nice big fridge. A good place to cook.
So we have obviously more than enough room for the 7 of us. The nice big table. We got more chairs if we have guests and stuff come in. But we also have a Blackstone out in the engine bay, which we can take a look at later.
Okay.
A grill out back. So we really like to cook. I know that's the stereotypical thing about the firehouse, but once a week we try and cook, whether it's breakfast or lunch. We're not cooking dinner yet because we're only here till 5, so we go home for that. But but yeah, it's a really nice setup, and we're fortunate to have what we have here.
Right. So you have some really nice recliners. It looks like these are kind of the state of the art. You got the cup holders. They got the plug-ins for your phones.
No, they're not that. They're not that tech savvy.
Right.
But no, this provides a good opportunity for the guys who are on stipend late at night. Winding down, getting ready for bed to watch a movie, or if they're staffing the station for a snow event or severe weather, things of that nature. It provides a nice spot.
So do you have bunks then? If you're only 7 to 9 or whatever it is.
7 to 5.
7 to 5. But you have overnight, so you have to have some kind of bunk rooms. Are we able to take a look at those?
Yeah, let's go take a look. Okay.
It's kind of deceiving from the outside. I thought this building was much smaller. As we're walking through, it seems even bigger, almost like the TARDIS from Doctor Who. It's bigger than the inside.
Right. So we have obviously women's and men's bathroom on either side of the hallway, and then we have women's bunk and men's bunk.
Okay.
So the women's bunk only has 3 bunks, just because we have less women here at the firehouse. But Obviously, it's 2 separate rooms for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But if you want to come,
we'll take a look
in the men's bunk.
Okay, it's the old college dorm furniture.
It
Really
is.
what
It
it
really
looks like.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah. So we have 5 beds in here. You know, I'm sure it gets loud with some of the guys who like to snore. But yeah, it's you know, it suits our needs for the time being.
Right. I think there's something to be said about having a community bunk room though too, because you can get your partner up as you're going out. You know, when the call comes out. But you also, as you guys are winding down for the night, you can actually talk about different things. Many of the newer stations that we've seen, they've starting to go into individuals. I get the purpose of that too. You know, there is a happy medium, I believe, between community bunk rooms and individual bunk rooms.
Yeah.
So, do you have any kind of state-of-the-art equipment in the bunk rooms? Like when your alarm goes off, does it, you know, start quieter and go louder?
So hopefully we get a call while you guys are here.
Okay.
Because you know we have this. It's the Claxton. All the fire service guys will know what that is.
Yeah.
So that goes off.
Cover the main station, all the medics out. It's Luther Woods, room 212, 313 West County Line Road. 350.
Tell me a little bit more about your service here. What kind of coverage area do you have? How big is it? Is it mostly residential? Is it mostly commercial?
Yeah, so we cover about 10.5 square miles.
Okay.
About 23,000 residents here in Montgomery Township. And you know, we have a lot of mutual aid. The way our mutual aid works is on any given box assignment, we basically pick one unit from each of our mutual aid companies to respond in, and then same going elsewhere. So
Right.
we do a lot of mutual aid in the Lansdale and Hatfield and Chalfont, Warrington, Horsham. So it's good. And you know, we're surrounded by a few companies that have career staff as well.
Okay.
So they're pretty much responding on most of our stuff, especially during the day. With you know Rescue 78 down the street and 15s down the street, it's you know it's nice to have them close by.
Right. Now you have another kind of substation.
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. So
How
we
far
have,
away is that from here, and how does that work?
So we have it's I don't know the miles, but probably 2 or 3 miles up the street.
Okay.
On Doylestown Pike, we have our Battalion 2 location.
Okay.
And that is we have 2 trucks up there, Squad 18-1 and Engine 18. And volunteers respond to that house as well. Sometimes during the day, if people are around, they'll respond and get a rig out from that end. But the way it's supposed to work is, especially at night, that if there's a call up that end and those trucks are hitting the street, the engine goes out first out of that station, and then they're supposed to take the tower out of this station.
Okay.
That way you're getting the 1 and 1 on the road.
Right.
So.
All right. So that's pretty much it for the house side.
Yeah.
And now we make it out to the apparatus bay, right?
Yep. So in this firehouse, we have Squad 18, Tower 18, a traffic unit, and a special service.
Okay.
That's the light I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
So that rotates. Lastly, we just have our radio room here.
Right.
So this is where the guys just fill out the incident report, coming back from the call, and then we have the radios up here if we want to monitor something. But those are the radios that actually control all the house stuff.
Okay.
So we have.
Right.
We have Bucks County radio that we monitor during the day, and then Monco as well.
Okay.
So if I'm sure you're going to hear the tones in the background. Monco's pre-alert for a building fire or rescue is Bucks's recall tone. So the pitch is a little bit different, but it throws us off sometimes during the day.
Right.
So
this is the map of your coverage area?
yeah. So this is every box that we have here in town.
Okay.
So I'm sure
Where are you located within this map?
So we're right here.
Okay.
And then if you travel up 309 and down Doylestown Road, that's our substation there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a bunch of not necessarily highways, but major roads in town with the 202 bypass and 309
Yeah.
as 2 of the major ones. But
Yeah. I remember back in the day, 309, we went through there quite a bit for auto accidents. So.
not so much anymore because of all the traffic lights. But
Okay. Now we're heading back out into the apparatus bay.
Yep.
All right, we'll kind of work our way across. I'll ask you some basic questions in regards to your units. First of all, what are they?
So this is Squad 18.
Okay.
We have, an incredible amount of equipment on the truck. So the old saying, 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag, that's this truck here.
Yeah.
We got a lot of equipment, a lot of, necessary stuff. We got a grant for a bunch of rope rescue equipment, so we're all rope rescue techs.
Okay.
So we have, a sufficient amount of equipment for that, and obviously...
So this is a pumper rescue then?
Yeah. So In Monco, they don't call it a rescue engine. It's the squad.
Squads.
In Bucks, it's different. There are no. If you call for a squad in Bucks, you're getting an ambulance.
Okay. Yeah, and we've been learning that as we cross America too.
Yeah.
You know, if I call for a tanker here, we get a truck with a tanker. You call for a tanker out west, and you're getting an airplane.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, even though we're using the same equipment, we call it just different stuff because of the language.
Right.
Almost like people in the South have accents, and they say we have accents. So,
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting how things change across the country.
right.
But no, this is a 2016 Pierce.
Okay.
It's got 500 gallons of water in it. More hand lines than one could imagine. We have our trash line up front here. We got 2 cross lays. We run 1 3/4 with all our pre-connects, and then we have 2.5 as well.
Nice. And then you also have vehicle rescue tools on it.
Yes. Yeah. So we have hearse tools, battery operated hearse tools. We actually transitioned away from the hydraulic, corded stuff about a year ago.
Okay.
So it's worked out really well.
We're seeing that too
Yeah.
as it kind of goes across, but now we've had to almost put more inverters in the trucks to keep those charged. You know, I've been doing this almost 30 years now in EMS and fire, and I've noticed a transition. We used to have really large inverters basically to run the lights.
Mm-hmm.
We got LEDs, so the inverters went away, and then we were running hydraulics. Now that we're starting to plug in our lights, our portable lights, we're starting to have battery powered tools and that kind of stuff. Now we need another inverter to charge all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So it's made a full circle.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see, especially like every truck used to have a generator.
Yeah.
Now people are getting away from generators because, you don't really need them.
Yeah.
Depending on, what you're doing. So
Right.
It's very interesting.
All right. So then we'll make our way to the next unit here.
Yeah.
This one looks fairly new.
Yeah, so this is our tower.
Okay.
So we got the tower in 2022.
Love the color scheme. I like the gray.
The chief will be very happy with that.
Yeah, the
so
red over
we
gray.
kind of gotten away from the FDNY look,
Okay.
as you can see,
Yeah.
to the new color scheme. So we're actually have 2 new Pierce trucks on order.
Okay.
They're due to be delivered in like October, November.
Nice.
So we have an engine and a squad that's replacing
Okay.
this squad here. We always had a tower ladder here in Montgomery Township, but it was a rear-mounted tower with the bucket hanging over the front.
Right.
And when they got, when we formed the truck committee and kind of looked at what we need here in town, we felt that the mid-mount tower was our best.
Right.
Our best
And what, that
option.
104, 107?
105.
105,
Yeah,
okay.
105,
That was close.
yeah. Yep. So it's been
Nice.
great so far. So we have RIT capabilities. We have the rope rescue stuff on here as well. We also have a tank and a pump on here.
Okay.
So we have 300 gallons of water.
Technically, it's a quint then, right?
It
You just may
technically-
not have all the ladders.
You got to watch
Yeah.
that. Some people are really offended with the quint talk.
Right.
So it's not meant to be a quint.
Sure.
We just have the capabilities if needed.
Okay.
So it's 300 gallons. We have minimal 5-inch. We're not dropping in with this thing. I mean, it's 47.5 feet long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Beautiful truck.
yeah,
I love
it is.
that. You got the old road array out front
Yeah.
still, and,
Yeah.
some of the old traditional stuff, but it's a good looking truck. Do you think maybe later we can do a station rigs on one of these
Yeah,
too?
yeah, absolutely.
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
So for you viewers, pay attention. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit notification, smash the like button, because we're going to come back and we're going to be doing a station rigs on one of these vehicles. All right, and then you got another bay.
Yes, we do. Yeah, so this is the special service.
Okay.
So the purpose of this truck is, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that we have 5 firefighters working the day.
Yep.
So one of the firefighters, we call it detention.
Okay.
So because we're alone.
Yeah.
So this is basically, it's on a weekly rotation. So every week we rotate our detention week.
Okay.
And it's basically our opportunity to get caught up on our projects. So, personally, I'm in charge of like the maps in town. So if I got to update maps or go to a new building or, check hydrant locations, I can do that. I don't have to take go in the truck and
Okay.
drag the guys with me.
Right.
Or just do, just doing fire inspections, follow-ups, fire marshal follow-ups, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's also fully equipped with all EMS gear. So, like I said, all of us are EMTs.
Okay.
So, if you have to, we do run QRS. We have the sticker there on the
Right.
on the side. So if there's an EMS call that comes out here in town, we can also run to that.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the fire companies that don't have an EMS in their station do some kind of QRS, and many of them take a squad or a ladder or something like that. It's nice having a smaller vehicle, one that stays on gas, And two, it's a little easier to get around to get to that emergency in a smaller vehicle.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And you don't have to take all your crew. You can take who you need.
Exactly, yeah. Especially when we're on inspections and stuff, people are like, "Oh, you brought the whole crew." It's like, well, yeah, but, if we get a call, we got to run.
You gotta go.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right, and then working our way back, it looks like you got some drills that you can run with your forcible
so
entry.
we have, I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen the blue door.
Yeah.
Like
It's a staple in every firehouse.
It really is.
It's one of the things that, we have to learn how to do and do it efficiently. So having the opportunity to train on station, again, I'm showing my age, we didn't have these back in the day. We had to go to a training center and set up a date on a training night and go do this kind of stuff. The fact that you have it here, you're like, hey, I'm just gonna go work out on and do this. Yeah. Maybe instead of hitting the gym for the day, I'm gonna, break a couple doors.
Yeah, and I mean, you see it every day in the fire service, right? Like when we're not able to do the most basic functions is when we look the most silly.
Yeah.
And skill decay is a real thing. You have those guys, I've been doing this 30 years, I know how to force a door, and it's like, here's a Halligan bar and an axe, go force the door, and they're pounding on the door for 15 minutes.
Right.
It's like, well, you haven't forced a door in 10 years. So it's one of those things where it's repetitions, and that's why it's here.
So I noticed that you have the gear on the outside walls. Is that volunteer versus paid, or are they kind of intermixed?
Yeah, currently, those 7 racks there are our full-time career staff. We have a few of the fire police. They have their equipment there. If you come this way, you can kind of see the big rack down there with all the bags.
Yep.
Those are all the part-time firefighters.
Okay.
So all their gear is stored in bags on that rack.
Nice.
And then, yes, on the other wall is all the volunteers.
Okay. Yeah, it makes it easy. So when you come, into the station to pick up the truck, you know exactly which wall to go to, get your gear, and get on the truck.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you have a little engineer's room.
Yeah. This is this is where we do our basic maintenance on our tools.
Okay.
Our spare equipment back here. A lot of the stuff the chief thinks we can throw out, which he's probably right. Our water rescue equipment, so that's stored back here.
Okay.
We stage that in case we are expecting a severe storm or stuff like that.
Right,
But,
right. Yeah, this is one of my favorite rooms in every firehouse, mainly because I'm an auto mechanic, on the side. I'm a shade tree auto mechanic. Let me say that. I've never been certified, but I've been doing it since I've been little. I always take care of my own vehicles, and so tools always fascinate me. And having this kind of stuff in your firehouse makes a big difference. I currently work at a firehouse that doesn't have a whole lot of tools, that is not organized real well. I'm not saying anything bad about my company. They just didn't have the opportunity, and I'm in a substation. Well, when a light goes out on the tower, I can't fix it. I got to send it out or put it out of service. Or even in my last video, I had to go to get a light bulb to put into my truck. Well, if you have the opportunity in your firehouse to build something like this, you can save a lot of that cost, time, and money by just simply doing some of the stuff yourself.
Yeah, and some of our guys are very mechanically inclined. It's the stuff that we can fix. We try and fix ourselves, but obviously there's stuff that's out of our
right.
expertise.
And there's things you got to send out,
for sure,
to do it. But if those little maintenance things, and I've always found the better you keep your trucks, the more people respect them.
Yeah.
When they start, having lights out and the little tear here or this, people start treating them more like crap than they normally would.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's the mentality of what they see. So you keep it nice, they're going to treat it nice.
Yeah, and it goes back to the whole, what's the fire service built on? Pride.
Yeah.
And that's something we pride ourselves on.
Sure.
Is making sure that our apparatus are at tip-top shape and our equipment's always ready to go, because we take a lot of pride in our organization.
Right.
And we want the public to see that. Their hard-earned tax dollars, make it so we can afford a truck like that.
Right.
So we want to make sure that that's shown.
That's awesome. And then you said you have a traffic unit.
Yeah, so we have a lot of fire police.
Okay.
I think it's like almost 25 now.
Right.
So the fire police are all volunteers, and they respond for all calls, but primarily for traffic accidents and stuff like that when the PD needs them. It's an excellent resource for the police. That way they're not standing on the side of the road for hours at a time.
Right.
Taking up, I'm sure they could be doing something else.
Right.
So it's an excellent resource for the town.
Yeah, I love the fact that a lot of the fire companies here in Pennsylvania have fire police. But I've noticed as I travel across the country, a lot of people didn't know what fire police were. They're like, wait, you have police that are fire? Do they carry guns? All those kind of questions. And no, it's really just for them to help control the scene, make sure that we're safe, make sure traffic can get around the incident, and kind of help the public and keep everybody safe.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. You said normally assistant chief is here. That's out today.
Well, it depends. It depends on who gets here first, the chief or the assistant chief.
All right.
the assistant chief gets here at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So.
And then you got your table out in the engine bay.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that you guys have that too. This is, again, especially during those nice warm summer days, is a good place to kind of hang out, you know, between calls, talk about calls even after. It's a good place to come down and just sit back and relax.
Yeah, and you know, not on purpose, but oftentimes, I mean, we had a small fire down in Horsham yesterday, and we came back, we cleaned up our stuff, and it was a beautiful day. So all the bay doors were up. We watched the truck, and we sat around talking about the fire, and you know.
Anthony, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you all for watching today. This was a Station Cribs with Montgomery Township Fire Department. We were just talking to Anthony. Once again, do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit that notification, smash those like buttons, make a comment or two below. What do you guys think? Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you again next week.